COVID vaccines. Our webinar is divided into 4 parts. First is what are vaccines and why our people are hesitant to get vaccinated. Second are the things about the vaccine, technically true but mispresented. Third are the myths and misconception about the vaccine. And finally, the perks of being vaccinated. Firstly, I'm going to talk about what are vaccines. For this, I have prepared a video so you can understand quickly.
After we have been exposed to an infection, our immune system remembers the threat, in particular by producing antibodies. These are proteins that circulate in the blood and throughout the body. They quickly recognize and disable the invaders upon contact. By preventing or minimizing illness, this is why we usually do not get sick with the same bug twice. We are immune. Vaccines mimics this process, encouraging the immune system to make antibodies without us having to go through the illness. Some of the leading SARS-CoV vaccine candidates are mRNA vaccines, based on incorporating the genetic blueprint of the key spike protein on the virus surface into a formula that, when injected into humans, instructs our own cells to make the spike protein. In turn, the body then makes antibodies against the spike protein, and they protect us against viral infection. This strategy is faster than more traditional approaches, which often involve generating weakened or inactive form of a live virus, making large amounts of the spike protein to determine whether they can prompt an antibodies response. Once a potential vaccine is discovered, a number of checkpoints exist before it can be administered by people. First are preclinical tests, which involve experiments in laboratory with animals. Scientists must ensure the vaccine candidate is not only effective but also safe. For example, an antibody response to an imperfect vaccine could, under rare circumstances, end up increasing the danger of becoming infected when the potential vaccine achieves the necessary preclinical results. Clinical trials can begin in a small group of people. As the vaccine candidate advances, it is tested on increasing number of people, with scientists and doctors closely monitoring safety, efficacy, and dosing. Upon successful completion of clinical trials, the vaccine candidate must be reviewed and approved by the regulatory agencies such as the FDA before large-scale manufacturing and distribution gets underway and the licensed vaccine is administered widely.
It seems baffling when not only millions of people died from this disease has disrupted our lives and this economy to a degree that has not happened since World War II. This phenomena seems totally predictable. First, everything COVID related, from wearing masks to school closures and to infection fatality rate, we have suffered so much. Still, people are hesitant to get vaccinated, and this suffering, the first reason is pandemic. In 2020, people have spent more time at home than ever, so they naturally turn to social media, where it is cliche to point out misinformation, and there is a phenomenon social psychology that people will start to believe false information just from hearing it over and over, even if they initially know that it's false. According to the data of 2 weeks, it's been found that almost two-thirds of the misinformation about COVID-19 vaccine originated from just the 12 influencers who supported so-called anti-vax movement. These influencers don't even need to convince people that vaccines are definitely unsafe. All they need to do is raise just enough doubt that people start to question the experts and feel uncomfortable committing to any decision, including the decision to be vaccinated. So, if my fellows, you are hesitant or you are skeptical about the vaccine or just seeking some answers related to the vaccine, we are here to dispel these myths and misconceptions for you.
So now we will be discussing some things that are technically correct but mispresented. That is, vaccine manufacturers are protected against lawsuits, so they don't care if vaccine is safe or not. This point is ethically correct but mispresented. The reason that vaccine manufacturers can't be sued it's because far before the COVID, the idea goes back to the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act of 1986, signed into law by Ronald Reagan, which was designed to protect vaccine manufacturers from financial crisis. The reason behind the law was unjustified lawsuits, which parents and their lawyers claim that a specific vaccine led to brain damage in children, even though the scientists and physicians repeatedly testified in courts that evidence showed no such links. But still, the lawsuits made problems that the companies stopped producing vaccine as they were facing financial loss due to compensations. So, to not get short of nationalizing vaccine production, the only way the government could get the vaccines produced was to provide protection for pharmaceutical companies. And if any true case of harmful vaccines get proven in court, so they will be compensated not from the company but from the federal government.
So, catching COVID after having the vaccine is proof they don't work. This is technically correct but mispresented. COVID-19 vaccine work by significantly reducing our chances to becoming serious ill from COVID-19. These vaccines make our body's defense system mostly stronger, which means if you do come across with this virus, our body's defense system will be able to protect us by getting rid of this virus. And the clinical trials have shown that these vaccines are very effective in preventing complications due to COVID-19 proving that they do work.
Let's start our myths busting. First myth is I won't need to wear a mask after I get the COVID-19 vaccine. No, that's wrong. Firstly, it takes around 2 weeks to completely immunize a vaccinated person. Second, we know that vaccine is 90% effective, but we don't know that whether vaccine can prevent you carrying virus in the nose and whether prevent its transmission of virus to the other. The second myth I'm debunking is I already had COVID-19 and recovered, so I don't need to get a COVID-19 vaccine. The fact is, we know that when people get COVID infection, they will develop natural immunity, so develop antivirus to the spike proteins. What we don't know is that for how long that antibody lasts and for how long protection will last. We know that after 90 days, person will not get reinfected, but after 90 days, it is not certain. A paper published in October 2020 discussed the infection of 25-year-old male in United States. That individual presented with symptoms once in April of 2020 and then again in June 2020. He tested positive for virus in April, negative on 2 tests performed in May, and then again positive when tested in June. The others also reported that for each infection, the virus showed significant genetic differences, suggesting that each instance was a distinct separate infection. Importantly, the potential risk of natural infection versus those of vaccinations are no comparison. It is much safer to get the vaccine which does not contain live virus. So it recommended that any patient that had COVID-19 infection should get COVID-19.
Now I am going to discuss a myth that is COVID-19 vaccine were developed using fetal tissue. Now fact is that this statement is absolutely wrong because fetal cell line, not fetal tissue, are sometimes used in the development, confirmation or production process of making vaccine. In COVID-19 vaccine, there are no fetal tissue and no fetal cell. And COVID-19 vaccine is mRNA vaccine. Now I am going to discuss another myth that is, can drinking alcohol cure or prevent COVID-19? Now fact is that this is also wrong because drinking alcohol does not cure or prevent COVID-19. In fact, alcohol can weaken your immune system. Drinking alcohol can be very dangerous. You must not consume this. It will not protect you from COVID-19 and instead drinking alcohol could cause disability or death.
So, The another myth is receiving a COVID-19 vaccine cause you to be magnetic. No, the COVID-19 vaccine won't make a magnet to stick to your arm. So what's going on? None of the COVID vaccine contain metals that could possibly be magnetic. Other vaccines do contain small safe levels of aluminum, but aluminum is not even magnetic. There is really no physical reason. The vaccine needles are extremely small, a fraction of millimeter in size. So even if you injected an extremely magnetic particle, it would be so small in size that there wouldn't be enough force on it to uh, uh, to actually keep a magnet stuck to your skin. So the question is, why does the magnet stick to some people's skin? You can easily get a coin to stick to your skin. We have all done that as children, sticking coins to our forehead because of the surface oil, surface tension associated with that. Or somebody could be using trickeries, some bad residues, or some other sticky substances to cause that magnet to appear to stick to somebody's skin. Even though there is no way coronavirus vaccine could be causing these magnets to stick, but we can be sure that there is absolutely nothing in any of the COVID vaccines that could make magnets stick.
Will a COVID-19 vaccine alter my DNA? No, COVID-19 vaccine do not change or interact with your DNA in any way. There are two types of vaccines, mRNA vaccine and a viral vector vaccine. Both vaccines deliver instruction genetic material to our cells to start building protection against the virus that causes COVID-19. However, the material never enters the nucleus of the cell, which is where our DNA is kept. This means the genetic material in the vaccine cannot affect or interact with our DNA in any way. All COVID-19 vaccines work with the body's natural defenses to safely develop immunity to disease. Another myth are, can a COVID-19 vaccine make me sick with COVID-19? No, COVID-19 vaccine cannot make you sick with COVID-19. COVID-19 vaccine teach our immune systems how to recognize and fight the virus that causes COVID-19. Sometimes this process can cause symptoms such as fever, but these symptoms are normal and are signs that the body is building protection against the virus that causes COVID-19.
So some people argue that the COVID-19 vaccine is risky because it was developed so quickly. I totally understand their concern as it took only 8 to 9 months to its launch. But at the same time, we are in a global pandemic. Scientists have been working around the clock to try to find out the vaccine. There's also been a lot of investment, a lot of collaboration as well. Scientists from different countries and different organizations have worked on it together. And all the tests have been done, so the vaccine is tested, approved, and effective. Even though it was developed quickly, they have undergone all the same strict food and administration and drug administration procedures. Instead, it's such an incredible success in such a short time frame. In addition, the clinical trials and the safety reviews literally took the same amount of time. So it's just a false information that there is a risk to have vaccine. So the second myth, I've heard many of the youngsters say that they are healthy and unlikely to get very sick from COVID-19, so that they don't need a vaccine. Although it is true that many we youngsters are healthy and we don't get very sick from COVID-19. But it doesn't mean that the virus is not dangerous. As we know that the virus can spread very quickly, so they can pass it on to somebody else that might be vulnerable to illness or fatality, that might be old and might have a worse condition of COVID. So at this time, we should not think about us as an individual, but we should think about us as a community to fight against this global pandemic together. As we all know that the unity is our strength, so I recommend that we all should get vaccinated.
The another myth is that there are several side effects of COVID-19 vaccine. The truth is that severe reactions are extremely rare. It's natural to feel a little skeptical about putting something new into your body, but there is an abundance of evidence that the vaccine is safe. So many people have died from this virus, none have died from the vaccine. The vaccine can cause mild side effects like tiredness, achiness, and fever, but the vast majority last only a day or two and aren't serious or dangerous. Side effects are actually the normal sign that your body, the vaccine is working and your body is building protection. Not everyone will experience side effects, and that's okay too. And there have been rumors spreading that the people allergic to the eggs should not receive the COVID-19 vaccine, and probably related to past concern over the flu shot and egg allergy. The COVID 19 vaccine has no egg or egg related components in it. So these vaccines are totally safe if you are allergic to eggs. There have been only a small number of severe allergic reactions to the vaccine in US and UK, including the one who had a history of food allergy, but those reactions were not related to an allergy to egg.
And another myth is that the COVID-19 vaccine will affect women's fertility. The COVID-19 vaccine will not affect fertility. The truth is that the COVID-19 vaccine encouraged the body to create copies of the spike protein found on the coronavirus surface. This teaches the body immune system to fight the virus that has the spike protein on it. Confusion occurs when a false report circulates on social media saying that the spike protein on the coronavirus was the same as another spike protein called syncytin 1 that is involved in the growth and attachment of the placenta during pregnancy. The false report said that getting the COVID vaccine would cause a woman's body to fight the different spike protein and affect her fertility. But the sequence of amino acid similarity is very short. They share exactly four amino acid interval. That's why the two spike protein are completely different and distinct. Syncytin 1 is made up of 538 amino acid, while the spike protein is made up of 1273 amino acid. Even the sequence in this structure of these four amino acid sequence is not enough for anybody to stop the placenta from forming and growing. And getting the COVID-19 vaccine will not affect the fertility of a woman who are seeking to become pregnant, including through in vitro fertilization method. The COVID vaccine, like other vaccines, work by training our bodies to develop antibodies to fight against the virus that causes COVID-19 to prevent fetus future illness. There is currently no evidence that the antibody formed from COVID-19 vaccination cause any problem with pregnancy, including the development of the placenta. In addition, there is no evidence suggests that fertility problems are a side effect of any vaccine. Getting COVID-19, on the other hand, can have potentially serious impact on pregnancy and the mother health. Another myth circulate on social media is that if you breastfeed your baby after getting vaccinated, your baby could die. During lactation, it is unlikely that the vaccine lipid would enter the bloodstream and reach the breast. If so, it is even less likely that either the intact nanoparticle or mRNA transfer into milk. In the unlikely event that mRNA is present in the milk, it would be expected to be digested by the child and would unlikely to have any biological effects. As the vaccine is not a live virus vaccine and the mRNA doesn't enter the nucleus of the cell and is degraded quickly, it is biologically and clinically unlikely to cause a risk to be breastfeeding child. It is important to be aware that there is no evidence to show the vaccine ingredient could pass to your baby through their bloodstream. But in the other hand, there are many benefits to breastfeeding your baby, including protecting them against future infection. Therefore, women should be encouraged not to stop breastfeeding after vaccination.
वैक्सीन लगानी
The other myth is if you get the vaccine while you are pregnant, you will miscarry. There's no such side effect of vaccination on pregnant women. The minister informed that the COVID-19 vaccines available are safe and vaccination protects pregnant women against COVID-19 illness. Like any vaccine may have side effects which are normally mild. Testing protocols and eligibility during pregnancy vary depending on where you live. However, recommending variants. The COVID-19 vaccines that are provide at least some protection against new virus variants because these vaccines elicit a broad in the event that any of these vaccines prove to be less effective against one or more variants, it will be possible to change the composition of the vaccines to protect against these variants. In the experiments, a scientist took blood samples from people who have already been vaccinated and tested it against variants in a laboratory.
The last myth is that COVID 19 survival rate is so high you don't need the vaccine. Despite the high survival rate, if someone gets COVID and it's not the bad case, it can still be transmitted to people around that might have a worse outcome. So it's very necessary to get vaccination done. So just not to protect ourselves, but also to protect the people around us.
So, guys, as we have discussed that COVID, we have discussed the what are vaccines and what are the myths. So now we are going to see that of being vaccinated. So first of all, COVID-19 vaccines are effective and they can keep us from getting and spreading the virus that causes the COVID-19. And secondly, the COVID-19 vaccines also helps keep you from getting ill even if you do get COVID-19. Then after you are fully vaccinated for COVID-19, you can resume many activities that you did before the pandemic. You can resume activities without wearing a mask or staying 6 feet apart, except where it is necessary, for federal government offices and malls and etc. We can connect with the loved ones and families, could feel comfortable gathering again, sharing meals, and enjoying each other company. Fully vaccinated people can travel without quarantining, both domestically and internationally, except for some countries which have the issues of the vaccines and others and all that. And if you get COVID-19, you also risk giving it to your loved ones who may get very sick. So getting a COVID-19 vaccine is a safer choice for everyone. And these are the references from which we made our preparation. Thank you guys. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. आपको वैक्सीन बिल्कुल लगवानी चाहिए क्योंकि ये ज़रूरी है और इससे इससे ये फ़ायदा होगा कि आपको वैक्सीन लगेगी तो आपके हिसाब से अगर आपको वायरस अटैक कर भी जाता है तो आपकी इम्यून सिस्टम उसको टैकल कर सके इसलिए और ताकि आप भी एक हेल्दी लाइफ गुजार सके और आपके हिसाब से किसी दूसरे को भी उसका ये बहुत तेजी से स्प्रेड करता है तो वैक्सीन लगाने की सूरत में आप बॉडी में ऑलरेडी एंटीबॉडी प्रोड्यूस होगी तो स्प्रेडिंग के चांसेस बहुत कम हो जाते हैं फिर उसमें एनी अदर क्वेश्चंस